Hello and welcome everyone. This time I'm taking a classic cowboy rifle to find a red deer. Albertina Fleischer wants me to rummage around the northeastern section of the map for sizable red deer. For Fleischer 5, I'll need to travel to Jonsdorf and harvest a red deer weighing at least 180 kilograms that was downed with a .45-70 caliber rifle. Jonsdorf is the southeastern section of Rottwald that contains open fields on the mountain, woods around the sides, and plenty of shoreline to patrol. There's also several outposts in and around its borders to spawn into. So the shot will need to be made with a .45-70 rifle within Jonsdorf's borders in order to count. The bar for a sizable red deer is set fairly low though, as a level 4 or higher will likely meet the weight requirement. I can complete it passively while wandering around the area, or actively while targeting red deer in their need zones. Red deer have an exceptional sense of smell, so I'll be sure to watch my wind while I'm out and about. Required for the mission will be the lever-action Coachmate .45-70 rifle. Along with it, I recommend using the soft-point bullets for better penetration. One drawback to this caliber is its effective range is 75 meters, which is closer than most, but you can also pair it with a Helios rifle scope for better accuracy. I am still too low of a level to purchase the red deer collar, but I would do so if I could to call them in to a closer range. Aside from the required 180 kilogram weight, any red deer, male or female, will complete the mission. But given the fairly large area to search, and my ever-present quest to fill my trophy lodge, I chose to scout a majority of the area first, to see if I had any monster stags hiding in the bushes. Since the most efficient way to search is to look for them in the drink zones, I began there. I already knew what was available at the small ponds, so first I searched along the edge of Spreeberg Lake. Then followed the river up to Jonsdorf Lake in the west. And finally checked the bottom outlet of Mondorf Lake. Overall, I ended up with plenty to choose from. I found 6 level 7s, but ultimately the best was a level 8 on Spreeberg Lake. I now had my target, but not the weapon to hunt him with. However, purchasing the .45-70 is not a cheap ordeal, as a gun with ammo and a scope costs over $72,000 in cash. So this one sat in my mission log for a while until I finally had enough to get it. I chose to buy the soft-point flat-nosed bullets to go with it, because they had better penetration than the hollow points. Luckily, I liked the open sights though, so I saved a little money by not purchasing the scope. After a quick trip to the range to brush up on my skills, I was ready for the hunt. But just because I knew where and when to find him didn't mean he was going to be easy to get. While scouting, I noticed that my original approach from the north had a questionable wind and poor visibility due to the reeds, so I decided to try something else. I reset the time and headed over to the Spreeberg Western Outpost to try approaching the zone from the south. Turns out the visibility here was even worse, with both the reeds and the trees in the way, and before I could get eyes on, I got busted. So I set aside the mission for now and returned a few days later. I approached again from the north to see if I could make this angle work. They were spread out fairly well, but the wind was blowing almost directly to them. I put on some scent eliminator as I began to close the distance, but didn't hold out hope that it would do much good. I found a position on the shoreline, but the reeds once again had the rest of the herd in cover. When one of the stags let out a warning call, I began to back away, not wanting a repeat of my last attempt. I returned to my initial perch and found that they were all still there. Since the shoreline approach just wasn't going to work, I needed to come up with something different. After checking the map, I noticed there were some steep ridges just behind them, and thought maybe it could conceal me well enough for me to sneak in close. So I marked their position on the map and began circling to the right. Once I had pivoted around for the wind, I began closing the distance. For this to work, I needed to move in slowly and quietly, as I suspected I would be right on top of them by the time I had a clear shot. And despite my best efforts, I still got a warning call before I could even see them. But my target was the first one I was finally able to spot. He was attentive and facing the other direction now, so I pulled out the 45-70 and waited for a better angle. But now he was in front of a tree. Irritating, but at least I had better cover to move around again, so I crawled under a nearby tree. There I found the perfect perch, a small rock on the side of a hill. Upon closer inspection, I had a great view of the zone. Now that I was here, I had some trouble spotting him again. I was tempted to just go for the level 7 instead, when I finally found him with a clear shot at his vitals down the shoreline. And he went down fairly quickly. At long last, I had my 8 mythical stag. He easily made the weight requirement for the mission at 226 kilograms, and made gold at 229.78. My single shot with a 45-70 quickly put him down with a hit to both lungs at 65 meters. My fixation on the level 8 may have overcomplicated the mission, but the struggle to get the one I want always makes for a great hunt in the end. Plus, with the red deer rework and population reset that followed after completing this mission, I'm glad I claimed him before he disappeared off my map forever. Fingers crossed the reset brings me something even bigger. If you found this video helpful, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Fleischer 6 will put the focus on accuracy, as I set out to break some hearts. Thanks for watching.